Okay, we're here today with the great saxophone player Phil Kenzie, which will be performing today at the beautiful Crest Theater in Delray Beach, Florida. This is for the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes as part of the Memorial Day celebration. A very special thank you to Kim Riley of Seaside Music Management for making this interview possible. Thank you, Phil, for agreeing to do this interview with us.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Phil, you have performed with such great artists like Al Stewart, Rod Stewart, the Eagles, David Bowie, Stevie Nicks, the Beatles, just to name a few. Do you have any favorites that just stand out for you?
Well, probably favorites in terms of the touring and the playing would probably be the Eagles, I would think. I didn't get to tour with the Beatles, I think, but then who did? Right. But the Eagles were phenomenal for touring. It was probably one of the finest tours I ever did. Later, I talked to Don Felder before he ended up leaving the Eagles, and I said, I got very spoiled on that tour. It was such a great tour. And he said, oh, we got very spoiled as well. So I think it was mutually enjoyable for all of us. It was a terrific tour, and it was money, no object, private airplane, everything the best of the best. So nice. I really enjoyed the heck out of that. And of course, that was the year in 1980 that they were voted America's most popular band. So the audiences could not have been more receptive.
Cool. Awesome. Do you have an artist or band, past or present, that you have not performed with, that you would just love to get on stage and play with?
Right now, I'm fascinated with the idea of playing with Adele, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I think some of her songs and her talent are ridiculously good. She's been a big-time Grammy winner, and so I would very much enjoy playing with her, I think. Of course, I had some aspirations at one time of playing with Springsteen, but Clarence is there, and now his nephew is playing with the band, so I don't think there's any avenues there open for me to play with them. There are so many, though, that I would really enjoy playing with, really good artists.
Cool. Do you have any new projects or albums in the works?
I've got my own album which is coming out, which is in fact a kind of tribute album in a way to Year of the Cat. Over the years, the saxophone solo has become, for me, somewhat legendary in some respects, and I suddenly had the idea of playing a kind of a soiree where a young man meets a young woman, they end up romantically entangled, and they end up, making love and all that kind of thing as a romantic, almost a one-nighter, if you will, but maybe more than that, who knows. And so Year of the Cat was in fact that. That's exactly what it describes. So I decided to play a song where, using some of the lyrics, for instance, there's an instrumental called Silk Dress, which, of course, she comes out of the sun in a silk dress. This is part of the lyrics of Year of the Cat. And the next one's called Running Like a Watercolor. The next song, one of the songs, is called Watercolor. And she comes in Incense and Patchouli. There's a track called Incense and Patchouli. And it basically tells the story of Year of the Cat, but in instrumental form. Nice. And it's called A Night with the Cat.
Oh, nice.
So that and lucky, formerly me, my daughter is a wonderful artist, and she's done all the artwork for it, which is pretty phenomenal.
Oh, nice.
So, in fact, I think Kim has some of those albums, if you're interested.
Yeah, that would be nice, yeah. Other than being a great saxophone player, do you have any hidden talents that nobody knows about?
Oh, boy. My family was all kind of hidden talents. So I'm actually an actor as well.
Oh, cool.
I performed in several different, small company stuff, community theatre thing, playing the leads and thing. And in fact, in 2000, I was awarded the Actor of the Year award for Circle Players in Nashville. Nice. For my portrayal of Frank Doell in the play 84 Charing Cross Road.
Oh, wow.
Which was actually a movie made out with Anne Bancroft and Anthony Hopkins.
Nice, how about that?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say has been the funniest or most embarrassing moment that you've had on stage?
Oh, gosh. I think that was probably in Germany, actually. I was a very young player, and I was on stage in the Star Club Hamburg in front of all kinds of revelers and drinkers who were having a riotous Saturday, and it was somebody's birthday, and they kept lining up drinks. Now, in Germany, you're expected to what they call auf X, which means it's to drink it in one go. And they were the little glasses with what they call schnapps in it, which are all kind of horrible, some of them are horrible flavors, but nevertheless, they're all alcoholic. And we had them like the Beatles type amps were on the stand and lined up across the top of the amp, these drinks, and we were just going drinking them, and they would send up more for us. Well, so I was busy playing away and things like that, throwing back these drinks and what have you, and all of a sudden this guy sent up and said, no, and he said, Prost, raise the drink. So I had to I threw another back, went to blow my sack and vomited all over my saxophone and area and all my clothes, my saxophone. I had to leave the stage. Go back to the hotel and take my entire saxophone apart and clean every bit of vomit out of my saxophone. It did. It taught me a lesson.
Okay, yeah.
Don't drink like that on stage.
That's a memorable one. Do you have a favorite song that you just love to play?
There are so many. I love playing a lot of different songs. It's hard to see. I'm getting into playing some of the older American songbook songs. In fact, I'm going to be playing quite soon. My mother just recently died. It wasn't exactly unexpected. She was 97. So I'm having to fly to England and play there. And I'm going to play two of her favorite songs at her funeral, which is going to be a cremation. But I'm going to play When I Fall in Love by Nat King Cole. And also there are many versions, although some people remember the Bing Crosby version of it. She likes the Joe Stafford version of I'll Be Seeing You. Oh, nice. Which is a very touching song and was a very big favourite in the Second World War, you know, for people who lost loved ones and things, you know.
My condolences regards to your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. If you could go back to the beginning of your career and give yourself a piece of advice, what would that be?
Oh, boy. Learn to play the piano. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, because it's frustrating not to be able. So much is geared around keyboards these days. Guitar, yes. Maybe guitar as well. I did start to play a bit of guitar, but I think piano is the most developed form by which you can create these days, because everything is geared to synthesizers and sequencers and sampling and all of those things, and drum machines, and they're all geared to the keyboard, you know, which is, so it opens a lot of doors for you.
Okay, the last question. If you were going to be stranded on an island and given a solar MP3 player and you can only download one album, what would it be?
Oh, boy. Oh. You know, you've caught me with that one. I really don't know. I really don't know. See, I do get tired of albums. Yeah. It's not like I can play them forever. Oh, boy.
I think you'd be stranded for a short time.
I know one of the things, there are many songs that I know I would like to think, but it wouldn't be one album, you know. I want to say maybe the Eagles, maybe the some of the things I've played on I like listening to, because they bring back memories for me of touring and friends and things like that. So some of those possibly, but I also like opera, and in particular, remembering my mother. My daughter is going to be, we're going to be playing a recording of her singing the very beautiful One Fine Day from Mad Butterfly, which is a lovely song. I love that song, and I grew up with it, so I would probably like to have that if I was on a desert island. You've heard, because there used to be a program out in England called Desert Island Discs, and you were allowed to take, I think, maybe however many they played on the program, maybe 10 records with you, and it was what you selected, and they would play each one of them as you went through, you know. So you got famous artists on there picking what their 10 favourite songs were, you know.
Cool.
So it was called Desert Island Discs. They should do it again. Yeah. I like that idea.
All right, that's it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I try to do them like 10 questions, nice, simple, you know, not all these drugged out interviews.
Well, there's a little more I would like to touch on just from my point of view, and that is just it's being an English guy over here, helping to commemorate the Memorial Day, you know, for American veterans. It's amazing how the veterans, you know, it's funny enough, I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for the fact that a saxophone player who was in fact bought a new saxophone in 1939 and went to war, the Second World War, and never made it back. And his widow, romantically, was so in love with him, she kept that saxophone under the bed until 1976, at which point she was quite old, and she decided it was time for let it go, and somebody might be, you know, be able to make use of it and play. And my friend got it just at the moment I visited him, And I said, he showed it to me, and I said, that's a wonderful saxophone. He said, he said, oh, you know, I'm not using it. You can borrow it if you like, you know, for a couple of days. And I said, okay. Took it home. That very night, not an hour later, I got the call to go down to Abbey Road Studios, the famous Abbey Road Studios, by Alan Parsons to record a hit called Year of the Cat by Al Stewart.
Wow.
And that's what took me to America and gave me, and there's a tune that had been played for millions of people. I've even had people turn around and said, did you play that? And I said, yeah. And they said, we made love to that on our honeymoon. And I said, oh, really? And they said, yeah. And they said, so that, and my sister, who lives out in Brisbane, Australia, says, you know, it's a funny thing hearing you playing in the shopping malls when I go shopping.
Yeah.
She said, so that tune has stayed at the top. Year of the Cat has stayed playing like that. And the funny thing is, you know, had he made it home, he would have been a vet.
Wow.
It was the Second World War, you know, and if his saxophone had not been there, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Wow,
Isn't
nice.
that amazing?
Yes, yeah, nice story, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful song, let me tell you. Year of the Cat.
Yes, it is.
It's
It
a
worked out
beautiful
very
song,
well.
yes.
You know, but it's amazing whose instrument, when you
Yes.
find out whose instrument played
Yes.
it.
Oh.
And funny enough, I never saw it after that until last year. I hadn't seen it in all that time, that saxophone, because I had to go out and buy another one, which I now have, which is actually a 1937 saxophone. It was 2
really?
years earlier and was owned by a man who fought in the First World War.
Wow.
Another
Amazing.
vet.
Well,
Amazing. All
yes.
through saxophones
Awesome.
and veterans. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The other thing that amazes me too, when I started thinking about that, is do you know that the Americans and the British have fought together, shoulder to shoulder, in major conflicts throughout the planet for the last 100 years?
Yeah,
I couldn't believe that.
It's,
And I would have thought about it, the First World War, the Second World War, the Korean War, you know, Vietnam, the Gulf War, the Iraq War, you know, what have you. The British fought in all of them.
well,
With the Americans. We're only just coming out of Afghanistan now.
Our buddies. I'm glad you brought that up because really that's the purpose that we're here together to, right now is to celebrate the Memorial Day weekend and all our fallen heroes and all those who presently serve now. Right. Well, thank you very much. I
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much. Appreciate it.
Let me get a picture with you here and
Oh, yeah,
let me
of
put
course.
this stuff.
I'm his wife, Millie.
Oh, lovely. Love to see you.